All right, guys. So today I wanted to give you a tip that might help your fishing in general and specifically your ahi fishing. We talk a lot about mowing the lawn, which means just get into a zone and stay there until you either run out of time or you get a bite or however many bites you get. I'm going to elaborate on that today. I went fishing with some friends and it was a good day. There was a lot of boats catching multiple fish, but we struggled to get a bite, and there's a bunch of boats that struggled to get a bite as well. So we only got one bite that day, and I want to go over this concept with you guys. Like I said, this will probably help you guys out. So this particular day, we were fishing between two buoys. The zone was basically between two buoys. So there's a buoy here and there's a buoy here. And this was a 6-mile stretch. So in the morning we headed out here and worked this area, and her guys had been getting bites here the day before. And then we got a call and said, guys are getting fish here as well, so which expanded our zone. So we ended up going back and forth from here to here. And like I said, this is a 6-mile stretch between the two. So wasn't a bad play for us to go back and forth in this big zone. But if you think about this big zone, there's probably pockets in this zone. And from the information that I gathered, there was a zone inside here and a zone outside here and a couple in between. But that leaves you a lot of zones that you can pass through that doesn't have as much action. So here's the scenario that I saw. So we would come up to this buoy, circle this buoy, start to head down sea, and then notice, oh, this boat over here is stopped, and this boat right here is stopped as well. And we would come down through this zone and, hope we get a bite, and then go all the way down to here, and then come all the way back up to here, and then come back to this zone. Which, again, is not a wrong or a bad play, but what I would have done differently is, if you're coming down sea, and you see other boats hooked up, or you know of the exact miles and degrees that the fish are supposed to be in, once you see this here, 2 boats hooked up or 3 boats hooked up right over here, now your lawn can shrink down from this big 6-mile zone. So if I'm not sure where the fish is, but I got a zone, I'm not normally playing 6 miles, but let's just say 6 miles is fine. That you can cover this pretty easily. But now you see 2 or 3 or even 1 boat hooked up here. Now I'm mowing the lawn in this zone like this, back and forth, in and out. So my zone, basically, my lawn shrunk from a 6-mile zone to, in this scenario, I'm playing, let's say, 3 football fields, in, out, up, and down, until I feel like I've worked this area well enough. I'm not getting a bite here. Now I'll go back to this bigger zone and hunt. And then, let's just say I get a bite here, or I see another boat stopped here. Again, now I shrink my zone back down to that 2 or 300, two or three football field. And now I just work in here for a good amount of time. And if these 2 zones are close together, now if I don't get a bite in here, I'll work here. So I guess the concept is, when you see signs, other boats stopped, or you got a bite, or maybe you see the fish in the water or flying out of the water, you want to make your field of play a lot smaller. Let's say 2 or 3 football fields. And if you don't see signs, now you can play a field that's more like in the miles, because by the time if you're coming down, see here, you pass through this zone, By the time you come all the way down here, all the way back up here, and back to that zone, that's probably 45 minutes of time that you could have used to concentrate your efforts right in the hot spot, so to speak. So when you see other boats stopped, or like I said, you see signs, you still mowing the lawn, but you're mowing the lawn in a smaller area, whatever you decide, 2, 3, 4, 5 football fields. And then once you figure out, yes, the fish are biting here, okay, I stay right in this range, or I never get on bite. So now you can make your field bigger again. And what you'll do with this is put yourself in the area that the fish, a tighter area that will give you more chances to get bit. So my hunch is, my hunch is that the guys who are getting multiple bites were fishing more like this versus this bigger area, and they were in the zone for a lot longer. So it's all about staying in the bite zone for as long as possible. That's also the concept of slowing the boat down as well, is staying in this hot zone for as long as possible. So hope that information helps you guys.